This week is Parshas Bereishis. It's the start of the Chumash, and it's also the start of the first of the 5 books of Moses, the book of Genesis, Bereishis, as it's often referred to in Hebrew. The basic theme of the book is stories of individuals, specifically the 3 patriarchs, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, plus Yosef, who is the first among equals of the brothers, extension of the patriarchs, and the 2 antecedents of the Jewish people and the world as a whole, but Noah, the survivor of the first world, and Adam, the first man. And it tells about their adventures, especially the patriarchs, and the idea is that this is the nation of Israel in its embryonic stage, and we're describing the things that shaped the nation while it was still really just individuals or a family, or also the idea is the things that acquisition of characteristics that would make them fitting to be a nation of priests. In other words, they're going to be the prime recipients of the law, and the ones that teach it and exhibit it to all men. The idea is that there's laws that people have to live according to, and just like there's natural laws, the difference being that rocks and plants do not have free will. Man does have free will, so just like a rock or light has to behave in a particular way, so too must a human being, but the rock can't decide for itself whether it's going to behave this way. A man can. You don't have the concept of punishment for a rock. You do have the concept of punishment for a man. Now, the book of Bereishis, it has a number of themes. The first one, or a number of sections. The first one is the 7 days of creation. And that basically is an outline of the components of the world as we know it. And the main focus of that world is man, who is going to be the ruler of the world and its most important creation. Which brings us to the second theme within Parshas Bereishis, which is a closer look at the way man was created. After you have the 7 days of creation, you have Shabbos, then the Chumash goes back and says, this is how I created man. I took some dirt, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu breathed a soul into it, and then he created woman from the rib of the man, and not only that, but it explains the 7 days of creation, saying that these things were not precisely discrete steps all at once. It says, well, you had the rocks and the rivers and mist before man, but the animals and the plants weren't there until man came on the scene. They had been created to spring up after man was created. So to speak, you had the seeds of all the animals and all the plants, and then as soon as man came, he looked away, and then everything else sprung up after him, after they had basically been created. It's kind of like you build a house, and it has all sorts of servants and plants and electricity, but you don't see any of this stuff until the master of the house walks into the house and turns on the lights. That's the basic idea. But you also have the ideas that man is created to protect and cultivate the Garden of Eden, so to speak. The world is supposed to be a garden of delights, of delicacies. That's Eden, means delights, delicacies. You also have the man naming the animals. And that's the idea of exploring the world as they are. It continues today with people identifying new types of fish or new types of plants. After that, it has 2 mishaps. One is the mishap of the snake, where man is basically rebellious and, shall we say, trying to be a social climber, competing with God, competing with the angels. And he falls because of that. Next, after that, we have another mishap, which is of Cain and Abel, where you have jealousy and competitiveness on one side. On the other side, you have sincere devotion and appreciation to God, but the jealousy completely corrupts that. And Cain, because he's jealous, his offering to God was less pleasing because it was not so special. Kills Abel, kills Chavel. After that, you have part of that story, I should say, though, is the rectification of Cain and his ancestors, but the rectification comes in the form of Seth, another prominent son of Adam. Adam has a number of children, but Shet becomes the primary son, and you have the generations of Shet. Now that's doing 2 things. One is it talks about basically the world is descending into evil. However, the generation of Shet is a generation of the righteous. So it's the refinement of Adam. Okay, the ultimate refinement of Adam is going to be Noah. But the breath of Adam is basically bad. And like when Adam is warned not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he is told that you will die a death the day that you do that. And you could say that It's not just a threat, it's a warning of what's going to happen. And when you have the flood, the breadth of, it's with a D, the wideness of Adam is destroyed, and all you have is the refinement. The wideness of humanity is going to be Noah after that. And it is a punishment, but it's also a lesson that the ultimate, you want to know about evil, the ultimate evil is total destruction, destroy the world. Man was basically created to give order to a world of tohu vavohu. Tohu, you would say, is desolation, the idea of a desert. There's nothing there. Okay, man is supposed to build up things. Vohu is a confusion, a mess, a jungle. Okay, you have all these trees and plants there, but they're wild and tangled, and you have wild animals there. Man is supposed to give order to these things. The idea of tohu vavohu is basically before the creation, before the 7 days, where when God creates the world from nothing, it is tohu vavohu, but then he creates light. And the idea is that the light is supposed to gradually illuminate the world. And the vehicle for that light is man, especially the line of Sheth, which becomes Noah. But Cain is not entirely destroyed, in that the wife of Noah, Naamah, as I recall, is from the seed of Cain. But what you have is, after the generations of Sheth and Adam, shall we say, are illuminated, the Chumash then says that, all right, God is going to destroy the whole world. But then he says, no, not really. Noah found favor in the eyes of God, and then shortly after that in Parshas Noah, it says that the world is going to be destroyed except for Noah and the animals that are with him. It's kind of like saying a man creates a business and he hires all sorts of people to run it, and they're horrible. So he fires all of them, and he repaints the building and saves some of the equipment, but he saves one man. And he's saying, all of those guys were bad, but you were good, but I want you to know how bad it can get. If you really are intent on being bad. But the idea, though, that emerges is that the general idea for the way the world operates, the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, how we should do things, is that you go through a period of creative activity where you have a focus, a target, and then once you achieve it, you step back a bit and you take a look at the thing that you're the most proud of, and you focus in on that. That's the story of how man was created. And after that, you're also going to have to take time to reconsider, maybe after a period of time. In the case of Noah, it's 10 generations. Well, 10 is a nice number. You stop after 10 and you take stock. Or if things are going very badly, you take stock and say, all right, things are going horrible. But then you say, but is there anything that is salvageable? Is there any good in all of this mess? And then you say, well, maybe there is. And this can become the new foundation of the endeavor that you're setting out to accomplish. Thank you.